Jessica Sup, a Reiki master teacher and intuitive. And today we have a special healing session. I feel really called to remove anxiety and remove negativity. So we're going to just work through that. So anything that comes up that you want to release, let go, send back to the universe. Hey, don't need this right now. Would like to be released from it. That's something that's going to come up in today's session. So just get nice and comfortable. Just get whatever you need during this time. Okay, sweetness. So the way that this works is that you can enjoy the healing, or you can fall asleep, or you can just set it to the side as a reminder for your self-care practice and taking care of yourself during this time. As a collective, when we come together, even through time, it is purposeful and it's meant to be. And so if you are meant to be here, you are meant to be here. So go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back for being here, and just take your time, enjoy each and every part of the session and just relax, okay? Okay. So I start the session off with a prayer. It's not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and to bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, babies. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information from our highest self only. Please allow us to let go of what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. So, sweetness, just relax. So I'm going to start by going in and just pulling out anything that's just right up there. And we're not going to judge it at all. We're just going to let it be. We're going to say, oh, it's okay. So let me just remove that for you. Just you relax. Just relax and really enjoy this moment for yourself. Okay. And just breathe in and out here. And sweetness, I forgot to say, welcome to all my new babies, and a special welcome back to all my returning babies. Mama loves you. Sorry about that. Okay. You would think after doing this long I would get it. I don't. It's a process. So just work through that. And so ground your energy down, okay? So just ground it down. And grounding doesn't have to be 100% earth qualities. Every sign offers an opportunity to ground it its own way. And so what we're leaning towards now, based off of the planetary positions, is a Piscean grounding. So in order to ground in a Pisces energy, that is the ultimate sense of surrender. You can't control it, but you have to flow with it. And that is a part of the process here. And there is something underneath the energy that that will work out for your benefit if you just trust it. But you have to separate what it looks like on the outside and just rest in the understanding that what's going on the inside, and if you take that journey, will lead you in the direction that you need to go. So just inhale and exhale here. Work through that. Breathing through this. And release. And so, in order to get to the other side, just let yourself know it's okay to fail. Just go over there and just enjoy yourself. Flow with the energy. Follow the energy. Allow it to be what it needs to be. And that will give you so much more out of the experience than if everything looked perfect all the time. It does not have to look perfect all the time, okay? Good job. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. So I'm going to just do a little cleansing spray. Okay, let me see. Cover your eyes, okay? Okay. And so, what's in here is lavender, sage, cedar, and then there's clear quartz in here, witch hazel, and purified water. And another way that you can help to just release this energy is you can create your own kind of cleansing liquid and cleansing tools. So what you will get is, you have to get purified water. You have to get purified water. You can't use tap water because then you're going to get mold in it. So you have to get purified water. And using something like a witch hazel can be it's an astringent in order to help stabilize what's in it, and it helps it to dry quicker. As well as you would apply your essential oil, whatever that is, and you would apply it sparingly, because the way that essential oil works is you don't need that much. In fact, when you put too much essential oil in things, you don't even get to notice the smell. If you use a little bit too much, it becomes overpowering, not like it smells like roses. It then starts to smell like mud. It's a lot. And then you can also add anything that you feel like would amplify the energy in here. So this has clear quartz, but you can add anything you want to. And the clear quartz is for cleansing. And so it's kind of cool because you can technically use it as like the same properties that the clear quartz offers. All around your energy as well. So exhale, take an exhale. Enjoy life. Enjoy it. Enjoy every little bit that life has to offer you, sweetness, because you never really get this time back. in your life, because it's the only time you'll be this person at this time, at this age, at this experience. And one day this will be your past, and you'll look back and you'll say like, oh, this is my past. And often we fondly look at the past as simpler times. So technically, currently you're living in simpler times. So just using the clear quartz in here to rest. Now, I also want to explain something to you when it comes to making your own cleansing. The color of the bottle is up to you, but there is a purpose for using darker bottles. If you have something that's going to be sitting on a shelf for a long time, you might consider a darker bottle, because it is that sun that comes into the water that begins to create or to amplify growth of, little stuff. So the darker the bottle, the less sunlight can get in to create that, because if we look at ourselves as a species, we came from the water, because we know that on this planet, when life came to be, it was these, tiny cells and microorganisms that were in the water, and it was because of the light and the water and all of those different, properties that life became. So I know I just gave this really big overview to simply say, it'll help keep your cleanse fresh for a long time if you use a darker bottle. I just love this sound. It's one of my favorite sounds. So if you're new to the community, you get one kiss on the forelock. And if you're a returning baby, you get multiple kisses. Okay, Mama loves you. So let's get started. We start our session off with a prayer. It's not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in an individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, to have your permission to say a prayer. May I hold your hand? Okay, let's begin. Dear universe and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Okay. So let's just start by slowly taking out any stress. 2 weeks ago, I made a video about the secret to happiness being getting rid of that stress. And it's really amazing when we think about stress, because we might be taking all these medications, or we might be trying all of these ways to feel better, feel more healthy, feel more vibrant in life. But sometimes just doing something you love or surrounding yourself by loved ones can create a chemical reaction within your brain and your body that can help with your immune system and with healing. So hopefully this session will help you to relax so that you can reduce that stress. And so I paid attention to what you all have been saying for those who will be going into a Saturn return in Pisces in March. I'm going to put something together for you all to help you during this time, okay? So give me some time, let me put it together, baby. And for all of you all who just had a Saturn return in Aquarius, congratulations, you've made it through. So every planet has its own return, but those Saturn returns are like the hardest. That's why it's such a big deal. So let's just start by taking little pieces of things that you should no longer worry about, little pieces of stuff that can be let go. You could send it somewhere else, you could send it somewhere else, and you can just relax your energy, relax your energy. Okay, now let's go through some layers to remove and release any type of fear, worry, anxiety. Just slowly and gently letting that go, removing that, and just rubbing it away. This bit, that bit, this bit, that bit, this bit, that bit, this bit, that bit, and all of this stuff, just sending it on. I'm just going to slowly, calmly work through this. Slowly, calmly, sweet dreams about it. Make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. Release. 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 And relax. 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 Relax and just take each little piece, send it on somewhere else. Let it move somewhere else. Let it be somewhere else. Just tracing over your energy. Just resting into this. Finding balance into this. And moving through it. And moving through it. And balancing through it. Just working through that space and just let go. Think of something you want to let go. Just let it go. Think of something you want to leave behind and just let go. Think of something that is best for you and just let go. Connect yourself with the deepest sense and just let go. Just let go. Just let just take this piece, that piece, this piece, that piece, this piece, that piece, this piece, that piece, this one and that one, and send it on, and send it on, and send it on, and send it on, and work, through this, work through this, work through this, work through this. Well, babies, how do you feel? Mama's checking in on you. And get you a couple more kisses. Okay, so just balance down here, just sealing you and sending you with a "it's gonna be okay." Just want to give an update about the 52-week challenge that we are mastering 1 to 2 things this year. So we have our second meeting coming up, so be there or be square. I'm going to be introducing some other stuff, and we have some resources that are going to be posted, and the resources are different. Sometimes it might just be videos that help with mindset. Other times it would be like what we have, which is a water ritual to show how to shift the energy. And so it just depends. So I took a poll of what everybody within the Patreon community wanted to work on. And so during the year, I'm going to be giving out and posting different things related to each one of those things. Everybody was, all across. So there's something for everyone there. And if you'd like to join it, it's only $3 a month. And it's a place to heal, relax, be yourself, and be surrounded by those who want to see you blossom into or bloom. Blossom into bloom. I am Jessica. Hello. I am a Reiki master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session. It is all for those who experience anxiety, so we're going to be working through that today. So if you're new to the session, welcome, babies. This is you're my baby. This is your nightly self-care routine where you take care of yourself, you do what you need to during this time. So welcome all my new babies, and welcome back all my returning babies. Mama loves you. Okay, so we start the session off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, to have your permission to say a prayer. Okay, let's do it. You ready? Okay. Dear universe, and all for the... May I touch you? Okay. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest intention and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am Ashe. 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 Okay. So, working through anxiety. So I talked about this a bit in the blockage video. So in my meditative reflection, I was thinking about how do we experience anxiety? How would you experience anxiety versus how I would experience anxiety? And what I started to think about is that how I feel anxiety probably feels different than how you feel anxiety, because our bodies are different and there probably are some similarities, but I started to think there are so many feelings, emotions, and things that we have within ourselves that describe a whole array of things, and we categorize a large group of things into something very small. This is just anxiety. imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome can invoke feelings of anxiety, even though it's better pay, even though it's something that'll help you in the long run, even though you have all the skills to make this successful. But the feeling of this new thing, this thing that you haven't done before, gives us a similar alert within our body of something like anxiety, like a trauma that you have experienced before, and that you feel like a new situation is going to be the same, but it's two different things, but it's kind of being meshed together. So that made me think, listen, whatever your anxiety is trying to tell you, listen to it. Now, as we work through it on an energetic level, it is important to know there are multiple things that can create anxiety. It can simply just be your body's chemistry. That's how your body is. It can also be having a traumatic experience that has happened to you, or several things that have kind of accumulated, and now your state of being feels anxious because it just doesn't feel safe. On an energetic level, what happens here is that when the soul has a traumatic experience, the soul starts to hover above the body because it no longer feels safe. That's why a person might feel disconnected if they've been anxious or depressed for a very long time. And bringing that soul back into the body brings that life back into the body, and they have motivation to want to do things and things like that. There are other reasons why you might experience anxiety. Maybe it's not a trauma thing. Maybe it's not the body's just natural state of chemistry. There are a lot of micronutrient deficiencies that can cause this, and I talk about this all the time. I wanted to do a series on nutrigenomics, but it seems like nobody really cares because I put it on a poll. But it is so important. We really take this for granted, that these micronutrients, meaning supplements, vitamins, the things that our body needs to actually work the system out correctly. If we have a deficiency or a surplus or things like that of these things, they can wreak havoc in our body, and we might treat it in other ways that actually won't necessarily solve the problem. There are entire systems in our body that won't work properly if we have these issues with these balance, because our body wants to be in this state of homeostasis, meaning the brain wants to be in a state of homeostasis, meaning it's kind of telling the rest of the body, hey, run these systems correctly. And when we have an imbalance someplace in these micronutrients, it kind of throws everything off, and that also can cause anxiety. I'm not playing with you. Low vitamin D linked to anxiety and depression. Magnesium can be linked to anxiety, low levels of magnesium, and then just all kinds. These are two examples that I'm giving you. Just all kinds of things that if you have an issue with your thyroid, that can throw things off. So it can impact the brain as well. So there's so many levels. So many levels. So we work through the energetic care, but there's so many ways to approach it. Even physical activity can impact. For example, if you are working out too much, or you're exerting yourself too fast, and your body is not trained to do that, you can stress your body out, and it starts to use the micronutrients in order to balance itself out, and that can cause a deficiency as well. So I'm not saying, hey, don't be active. What I'm saying is be mindful, listen to your body, as well as being sedentary, not making any movement, not doing anything, can also wreak a lot of havoc in the body. So this is just basically saying, listen to your body, make movement, do what you need to do. But anxiety is linked to a lot of things. It is not just one clear-cut thing, and there might be some overlapping things too. And I've said this, and I'm health insurance, ask for everything you can be tested for under your preventative care appointment, which is that free appointment that the insurance gives you. And that's when they can kind of put all that stuff in so you don't have to pay out of pocket for that. And then when you notice any of these things that are happening, any imbalances or things like that, then you can start to do research and take action. And the way that I like to do it is I like to head on over to Google Scholar. If you have some familiarity with like journal articles and stuff, they all pretty much read very similar. You can just jump to the abstract. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, then you might just do some doctor Googling just to understand how does iron impact our body, how does calcium impact our body, how does fill in the blank of something else, and folate, how does it impact our body. And that can start to get us to understand how these things impact us. It's really quite fascinating. Like, people can have a deficiency in something and have extreme anxiety from it, and people are trying to treat them on just purely a brain chemistry level, not even the actual micronutrients, a brain chemistry level, or through therapy, when there are multiple things that we all should be looking out for, not just one thing. So that is something that I hope that you can take with you and act upon. And I am a firm believer that you need to have a team, baby. I think about it like this, you know, the answer is not in one solution. The answer is all over. You're gonna find the answer a little bit everywhere, and you need to have a team. And if you're lucky enough to have access to insurance or have access to a team or can afford that, chef's kiss. That's a game changer right there, because what you are is you are the team captain, okay? And everybody else, you pay them for their specialties, and they are here to help you. And I think one of those biggest scams that we have is the thought that we are not able to make decisions for our own body, our own agency, our own autonomy. At the end of the day, you know exactly your symptoms, you know how you feel, and what you're doing is you gotta think, like, I guess the best way to think about it is like, think about a wealthy person. When a wealthy person wants to start a business, what do? They're not doing the work, they're not doing the effort, they're hiring out experts, and you know, they're not as smart as these experts, but in order to build whatever it is that they want to build, they do it that way. So look at your health in the same way. You don't have to go here and learn every, you know, medical specialty, every esoteric specialty. All you have to do is hire out in the areas that you're interested in, but you gotta make the executive decision, and you guide them, and you gotta fire people too if they not, you know, working in the way that you need it. So as you're here, we talk about the esoteric aspects of anxiety. The anxiety is sending a message, and what is the message needing to tell us? What is the message needing to tell you? And I wanted to give that little disclaimer of all of those other things that create anxiety, so nobody is just walking around thinking like, how dare they say that my anxiety, this pain, is, you know, just my body trying to tell me something. This, you know, there's multiple ways. And also, I don't want you to think the other way, which is, oh, I'm having this anxiety, it's just trying to tell me a message. No, you could have a actual imbalance that you need to get checked out. The message is still valid, but the solution is multifaceted, and it's going to be seen all around your life. So let's take a moment. In those moments that you have experienced anxiety, what is it that you are trying to process? Because it's always something. The anxiety always comes up somewhere. It'll be something like, oh, love, or it'll be money, or what am I supposed are grim and there's nothing I can do to stop it, versus the reality, which is I don't have to do anything to stop anything. All I gotta do is focus on my life mission, life goals, life things that I need to do right now. I don't have to be responsible for the whole world, because if you take care of yourself, you empower others to take care of themselves. But if you're constantly throwing yourself onto other people, you are going to expect other people to come and nourish you back. No, nourish yourself, and then any of that excess energy you have, give to others freely without needing anything in return. But you can't do that unless you fill yourself up first. And the answers you need will be there. They're actually already in front of you. You just kind of have to open your eyes, and by eyes I mean like your mind's eye, to the answers. It's amazing how that is, because when we're closed off, we can't see those answers. When we open, it's like, damn, this shit been in my face this whole time. It's been here this whole time. And it might have been things that you have already tried before. You just need a little bit more help or guidance along the way. And look, everything is figure outable. Everything is survivable. We have a species. Our species has been around for 200,000 and 300,000 years. You know, hominids have been around for 6 million years. We are very resilient. So whatever is happening in your life is not enough to take you out. I guarantee it. We have been able to survive this long, and things were very grim probably in those first like 6 million years, 5 million years, you know. Like it was real wild then, before our species even came to be. So think about it from that way. But it doesn't invalidate what you're feeling. You still may be feeling those feelings of anxiety, and that's why I'm saying you need to get these other things checked out too. Because on an existential level, if you process the message, you see from the macro view there's nothing to worry about, and you still are having these feelings. Check those other things out too. Check those other things out too, because that can be helpful as well. And you can have the power to think clearly, still experience the anxiety, and be able to make moves to go forward to help alleviate that in the other things that I'm talking about, as well as make decisions. What you feel does not have to stop you from living your life, does not have to and today we have a special healing session. It is all about removing anxiety from your aura. So if you're new to the community, welcome, 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 babies. This is your nightly self-care routine. This is just a place where you take care of yourself. You do what you need to do during this time, and you come back every night, because we're here at the same time. I hope you've been enjoying your time, whatever you've been doing during the summer, and just doing what you do when you're doing it, giving what you need to give. I feel like there's something on my shoulders. So if you're new to the community, babies, and I will refer to you as my babies because mama loves you. So welcome, welcome, welcome to all my new babies, and welcome, welcome back to all my returning babies. Mama loves you. Okay, now we're gonna get into it. We start our session off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and as a collective. And because consent matters, to have your permission to say a prayer. Okay, babies, let's get started. May I touch you? Okay, you ready? Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information from our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I Am Ashe. Ashe, Ashe, okay. also call it our boundaries, subtle bodies, depending on the tradition that you are interested in, that you practice, that you follow. Different words, different levels, different kind of understandings of what is this between me and you, what is all this out here. And when we're on our journey, at times we can be put in a situation in which we start to kind of get some freeloading energy. Have you ever been around somebody you really, really like? They're super cool. And once you leave them, you go home, you kind of start to have some things that are kind of similar to them. You just liked something about them, and you're kind of talking like them a little bit, just a little bit, Maybe they're a little bit more free spirited, and it just kind of opened you up, released your inhibitions a little bit. So the same concept that we can, bring on that. It's more of like when you see another person's light, it helps you to be open with your light. So being around other people can activate that within ourselves. But the reverse is true as well. We can be in situations and scenarios where you're around people who are negative, who are gloomy, who, it's just, you feel like the energy is just weighing you down. And on that side, you carry that along with you too. And it can sit in your body in multiple places. But what we're going to focus on today is those boundaries, or this aura. So it sits on the aura. So what it does to us internally is it starts to make us think like, this is how things are. This is just the way that life is. And I don't want to be kind of confusing a little bit, but when you have a good experience with somebody and you come back home and you feel like, wow, this is how life is, it kind of inspires you. You might get started on something. And then you have a negative experience with somebody. You come on back home, and what happens? You might feel like, oh, I don't have the energy to do anything. All of that lives within the aura. So today we are going to be just removing that from the aura. And as you know, during these sessions, it is a removal process, but the real work happens when you go out in your life and you actually utilize some of these things, these boundary building things, in order to prevent this from happening, Okay. So just inhale and exhale. And so just pull out. So what I want you to do is take 3 deep breaths, okay? Hands to heart. Your heart center. Relax here. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Final breath. Inhale. Exhale. I don't know why I did all that, but it felt right. Bring your hands to heart. Finding peace and balance and centeredness in this one moment. Breathe it. Release it. And as you exhale, I'm going to pull out. So keep going. Keep going. Okay. Breathe through this. Release it. Let it go. Release. Let it go. Release. Let it go. So, I think as time has progressed, I don't think we have to process everything that's happening that we pick up. Meaning, like, when we have those traumatic experiences that happen to us when we're younger, of course, a part of the life progression is we're going to process it without having to overanalyze it, and sometimes not even having to analyze it at all. We do not have to take on the burden of whatever that baggage is. So if you're around energy that is kind of has a lot of self-doubt, and then you kind of start to feel that way because that negative energy is on your aura, it doesn't mean that now you have to go into a deep dive of all the times you felt self-doubt. In fact, what you need to do, or from my perspective, is you gotta cut that cycle. Just cut it off. You have to kind of, cut the vein to it so that it cannot continue to be in that karmic cycle. Most of what we do whenever we're trying to get ourselves back on track in an energetic or esoteric sense is we're breaking cycles. That's really what's going on here. And then on the physical or the medical or the mental or the psychological, there are other things that we need to do. What we feed our body, how we treat our body, what we say to ourselves, who we surround ourselves by, and taking that information in, and just all of that happens in between that. And what I'm talking about today, which happens on an energetic level, esoteric level, or we could even say a spiritual level, these are the things, these fine-tuned things in order to stop something from wreaking havoc in our lives and remove it. I always like to take time to explain what's happening because y'all know I do not like codependency, okay? And I say it all the time. The goal here is not that you come here and you do no work in your own life and you get to, just get some of the energy plucked off and then you come back repeat. No, the goal is to empower you. That everything we do in this space, you have the power within yourself to do it. And that you are here for community, but you have enough strength to do it in your life. You're not dependent on anyone. You have all the answers within you. But sometimes we just need a little bit of a jump start. I feel it's like when you already know the answer, but you just need to be surrounded by someone or a group of people who are just talking about the answer. You're like, okay, I just need a little, little dust off. I get it, babies, I get it. It happens. So just taking that out. And you know what I say, be sweet to yourself, Have a lot of grace during this time. That's actually something we're talking about on Patreon. Surrounding ourselves with the support system that gives us grace. Not everything will always be perfect. We're not always on the up, and likewise, those around us, not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything is always on high energy, da-da-da-da-da. And that's okay. Do we receive grace? And do we give grace? Because this journey is a large journey. There's a lot that goes into it. And that can be exciting. At least I feel like it can be exciting. In many ways. And just releasing and just continue to match the air with the breath work here. And don't be afraid to put a little pizzazz into it. I don't know what putting pizzazz would mean or certainly entail, but if you got it, do you? So taking this out. And how we navigate and process things internally, it's just different, Each person is different. That's okay. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Just find what's best for you and break the rules, do what is into this space, into this moment. Take your time here. We gon' take our time today. We gon' take our time today. We gon' take our time today. experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? To have your permission. Okay, let's get started. May I touch you? Okay. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. Okay. So we're going to start by just that beginning layer. Very much so surface level, very much so root chakra. Start to remove those blockages. Now, a couple things that happen with blockages. Sometimes it's stagnant energy, and sometimes it's just kind of a too much activity going on that can create the blockage inside of us. So we just got to work through that, okay? I think a really common one to kind of explain, makes it really simple to understand, would be the throat chakra. You know, you ever feel like you got so much to say and you're holding it back at work, in life, wherever, and what happens there is it creates stagnant energy. If you are suppressing it, that means the energy's there, but you are blocking it off, and the energy gets stuck in that pattern. If it's something in which naturally there is not enough energy, so energy just can't keep flowing, it kind of stops there, that's another reason. So it just really depends on what you, in your particular situation, need. Okay, let's just go through that. This can be applied to different parts of the body, different things that are going on internally, and just move and release. Move and release. It's like when you think about life and you have like a big goal, you know what I like to call them? I like to call them big crunchy goals. You got a big crunchy goal, and for some reason you just can't get it. You're like, and other stuff you can get, but just some of these you just can't get it. And sometimes it might just be an energetic blockage. You know, the solution to most things, I believe anyway, is a change of habit, breaking cycles, and kind of that full process of what that is. But the blockages is kind of, it represents where we're kind of cut off from those opportunities in our life. And sometimes we don't even know it's a blockage. Like, we learned to experience life a certain way, and we actually might call it something else. It's so interesting. I was reflecting the other day on like anxiety and just the feelings of feeling anxious, and I wondered, I was like, whoa, what I think is anxiety may not be what everyone thinks or is categorizing anxiety. I'm sure there are things that are similar, but maybe things are different. And then I started to think more thoroughly, and I was like, wow, there can be an array of emotions or feelings that remind us of anxiety, but are telling us other things that actually have nothing to do with being anxious. So in the same kind of situation, there are a lot of experiences we're having in which we can be blocked off from certain things. We can be blocked off from a certain type of energy, and we can't even see it. We might even think what's blocking us is love. Mind blown right there. Now, the easiest way to know if that's kind of what has happened to you is look at the people you learned it from. Were they able to achieve all their goals? Were they able to have happy relationships? Were they able to feel good about themselves? The answer is no. Take a moment to have some self-reflection within yourself about habits you need to change, especially We're just sending it on to its next evolutionary path, letting it do what it needs to do somewhere else, just not doing it here. And just let it be, you know. Let it go and let it flow. Let it go and let it flow. And just release it from where it's at and just kind of train yourself. I get this one hair sticking up. I could, it's my bedtime. Train you or train, I can't even speak right now. Train it out of your life. Train those blockages so that they don't train you. So just side note, I feel like I can scroll online for hours, and the moment that I sit down to do a healing, it's like then I'm tired. Like, the moment that I'm like I'm gonna be productive, then I'm like I'm tired. But mind you, I can mindlessly scroll for a good 2 more hours. But I'm out here trying to do good in the world. Look at how they get you. I don't know who they are. I just, just removing those blockages. Oh my gosh. In this moment, I just had a very surreal moment of all of the healers that I enjoyed, and then creating this space, and now I'm on the other side. And I would say that it actually feels different than I thought it was going to feel. It feels like the same life I had, just doing it in front of a camera. My unsolicited diary entry of that. But the cool thing is, it was very unexpected, though I worked hard. I feel like trying to create this space in which people can come and enjoy. But in doing that, I felt like, oh wow, this is possible. It's possible to do this. So now can't nobody tell me nothing. Now I felt like, oh, if I put my mind to it, I can build whatever I want to build. But I think that is a part of the blockage. I felt like earlier in my life I did a lot of self-sabotaging because I was so dedicated to the people that I cared about. I just kind of cared about what they had going on, but I was trying to do what I felt like I needed to do, and it just was constantly competing. But as soon as I kind of broke through that blockage that was happening in my life, then I had a very different experience. I started to feel like, oh, there is space for me out here in the world. I realized that I was kind of busying myself with other people because I wasn't sure if what I was doing would work out, but I didn't have the same emotional ties to helping someone else, and in fact I felt like I could inspire someone to push past their limits versus how I felt in the moment at that time, not being able to push back past mine. But once I was able to do that, that blockage that was there kind of like disintegrated. It was no longer a thing. And so I say all of that to say, push past your limits. At first, the little things are so uncomfortable, but then you just gotta take your time and get past myself in this life. So much life to go. So much life to go. Haven't I learned all the life lessons yet? No. It's so funny because I can see all of the life lessons that I've learned, prior. And they were just on it was on an existential level. What is the point of me being here? Like that, I felt like that's where I was at, and trying to find meaning in this life. And now that I feel like I have meaning in this life, now it's like, how do I bring the things that I feel like are important that my soul has incarnated into this experience to have? How do I bring it out? And how do I not lose energy in doing that? Meaning, like, when I get bored, I'm like, oh, fuck this, I don't feel like doing X, Y, and Z. How can I keep that momentum going? But I no longer worry about those other things that were blockages before, which was what is my purpose? Why did I go through these things? Why, what is, like, trying to understand every little thing. It shifted and it changed. But now it's like, for me, this is my thing that I'm working through, is just patience. Because the goals are much further away, Instead of the goals being a couple months or a couple years, now it's like a decade. And I'm like, for me, I really struggle with patience. I like it right now. I want to do it right now. I want to work very hard right now. Versus it's a marathon, you gotta take your time. You don't have to do the most. And in not doing the most, it frees things on like a generational level, an energetic level, And the reason why things shouldn't go that fast is because there's a lot of people that we connect with along the way. It's necessary. Because when you reach your goals, you open up a freedom within other people as well. And whatever you want to do, it just takes time. It just takes time. And that's normal. I'm right there with it, with you, family, Babies, I'm trying to learn myself. Patience. And I think a big shift that I had was I used to have very, very finite goals. This is what I want. Because, I think it is true. If you tell the universe what you want and you go after it, you will make it happen. But what I don't think I did was I didn't analyze the importance of the goals that I had. Was the goals that I desire wasn't really that important? What is the origin of those things? And then I started to realize that when I started to analyze it, half the stuff I didn't even care to do. Once I separated myself from it, I'm like, this stuff really isn't that important in my life. And it freed up a lot of space. But when you free up space, it's like there's this open area. It's like, what do you do with that? Getting past those blockages. Like, now what do I do? And sometimes it takes time for that next thing to come. But what I've learned is just live life. Literally just enjoy life and take it easy, Do the best that you can. And it's just kind of mind-blowing because I was always the person on the go, doing 15 things at one time. But it's just, taking time and enjoying life. And I feel like I'm so much just happier and at peace. I also, I've always been a person who enjoyed solitude, but I would seclude myself because I didn't know how to have healthy boundaries with people. I didn't know how to enforce those boundaries. Nowadays, I can be around people, and because I'm actually very introverted, so I can be around people, but now I feel comfortable saying, like, no, will not do this, won't do this, so I can let my actual personality show versus having to just seclude myself, and I'm happier because you can't be around everybody's energy at all times, okay? You can't be everything to everyone. In this journey here, actually, I felt like as time progresses, I feel freer, and I feel so proud of I saying with that? Anyway, I don't know what I was saying, but whatever. Welcome to the space. Welcome my new babies, your self-care palace. Welcome to my returning babies. Loves and kisses. And today we have a special healing experience. It is all about not letting your thoughts run you or ruin you, okay? So if you're new to the community, we gonna do a prayer, okay? And I'm gonna ask you your permission. And it's not a religious prayer, it's a prayer to bring us as a collective and as a community. And I've been told that I can throw down in a prayer, and it actually took me a couple years to get to this prayer. This is actually my favorite iteration of the prayer. I think the most popular iteration of the prayer was when I was listing all of these names, and I think it's actually really funny now, where it's like there was more value in the select few that I was talking about than asking the entire universe to help us, and whatever needs to come in to help us to do that. It's just funny, because I think that spirituality right now is being commodified in the type of way of like I know what I'm trying to say. I feel like spirituality right now is fashionable, and it's more fashionable if you're seeing particular people and particular energies and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is a very diverse community with a lot of understandings, a lot of practices. There's no way to get all of the energy in, and what you might feel connected to, I may not. What I might feel connected to, you may not. And we gotta honor and respect that. So my favorite iteration of the prayer. So let's go and do this. Do I have your permission to say your prayer? Okay. And if you're new, you're probably like, man, touch you. Okay. And again, I'm very cheesy. I'm gonna get to the prayer, sorry. Okay. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information from our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual practices that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. Oh, inhale, exhale. So, let me just go ahead and clear some of this that's kind of going on here. After over 700 healings, what more could I talk about? Well, we live a full life, so there's always gonna be some new shit every day. Shout out to the comment that said cursing was a bad omen, and I was like, I curse every day. I curse real bad. So, okay, to bring it back to the moment in this healing space, do not let your thoughts run you. So what I want to kind of go through in our healing today is understanding fear. We take fear and we are actually describing many experiences, and we just put it under fear. The fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear like you're actually in physical danger, emotional danger, financial danger, any of those kind of dangers. The fear of something new, the fear of stagnation, the fear of old things. It's like the fear just goes on, and really things are very different, okay? So when you're ready to go to your next level, you're ready to take the next step, you're ready to move on, that edge of discomfort is where you want to be. Just wanting to go along the journey in a very comfortable way typically enables thoughts. Work through that, okay? Let's go. Okay. And we're gonna start with the thoughts, okay? Take the thoughts and balance them. Let me tell you, your thoughts will lie to you, okay? Because what you feel in this moment, you think is what life is like, and then when you feel something different in another moment, you feel like that's what life is like. There are things that are under your control, okay? There are things you can do. You can get up every day at the same time and say, I'm gonna journal. And if you actually follow through and do it, you can control that. For some reason, you weren't able to journal at your usual time, so you say, you know what? I'm gonna journal a little bit later. I'm gonna journal a little bit earlier or something like that. Still in your control. It might be uncomfortable though, because at first you're like, you have to learn a new routine, a new task. You gotta really think about it, you really gotta be on the top of your mind. But once you get that into a habit, it just will continue to flow and flourish. So what if you want to write a book? Well, now that you've been journaling, you then go and you say, okay, well, I'm gonna write a page a day. Write a page a day. Then you just keep on doing that, and that's how you build things, versus if you just woke up one day and said, oh, I want to write a book. And the same thing for other things too. Say you want to build a business. Okay, well, step number one, find an area you're interested in. Try some stuff out. Be a consumer, be someone who has a problem that needs to be solved. And then once you see what you like, or you see the type of business person you want to be, start to build and develop a network. Just ask people questions, just be curious. And then take a step. Solve a little problem first, and then just keep scaling and keep scaling and keep scaling and keep scaling. Love. You want to find love. I'm gonna give you multiple examples, okay? You want to find love, okay? You work on yourself first. You love yourself. You give yourself what you want someone else to make you feel like. And once you get used to that, you're gonna keep giving yourself that, and the right people will pop up. Why? Because you're no longer putting pressure on something outside of you to do what you need to be doing for yourself. That doesn't mean you're not going to have a good partnership. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have somebody who cares and loves you. But you're not going to be dependent or codependent on them to give yourself what you need. All those things. But our thoughts in the moment can make us feel like something bonkers is happening, okay? I'm never going to be able to do this. This is never going to work out. No, it actually is not true. You literally can do the bare minimum into something and make something happen. Can you imagine if you had one of those big, like 1,000 puzzles and decided that you wanted to connect a piece a day, and all you did was just connect a piece a day? Well, in a little bit over 2 years, your puzzle would be gone. It would be done. And that's the bare minimum, and that was something that seemed very insurmountable. So when you start to think about your whole life, understand that everything in your life follows by that too. If you want to be very creative, you want to share your gifts with the world, start to share your gifts. Start to do little things. Just little things. Say you post something on TikTok, okay? Say it doesn't even have to be that complicated. Say you just set a time aside each day to work on that thing, and you do that for a certain amount of time, and then you want to share your creation. So you share with your friends and your family, or you share with strangers. Sometimes it's easy to share with strangers. You share with strangers, and you just take your time, and just know that over time, eventually something's going to take off, because you're continuing to be persistent in it. But your thoughts can make you forget that actual common sense. When I say that I am here every week, and for a couple years I never missed an upload, I was like, it caused anxiety in me. I was like, I can't miss the upload. But I remember a time in the beginning where it was like excruciating to have to sit in front of a camera, and it wasn't that I didn't know what I wanted to talk about or something like that. It just was excruciating. It felt so, all of the things that make you feel uncomfortable when you put yourself out there, you just keep doing it, and you keep doing it. And what is now super rewarding to me is that when I read the comments, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I didn't stop posting, because my mind in the time would have been like, oh, this is uncomfortable, it's excruciating. And when something is uncomfortable in the moment, you start making shit up too. You start feeling like, oh, if I keep doing this, something negative is gonna happen in your life, you know. People are just gonna be upset. No, you know, just keep doing. Like, you have the ability to do what you can now. Don't overdo it to the point where you do so much, whatever it is that is important to you, that you do so much that you get burned out and you never want to come back. Don't be extreme. Don't go from one extreme to the other extreme. Just put that little bit out there. Put that little bit out there. When I say that I started to post 5 videos a week, and for a year, at the end of the first year, I had 600 subscribers on YouTube. And to think that I was posting a video every day, Monday through Friday, you know, because you don't know how I feel about the weekends, okay? I get it. The girl gives business hours, okay? But 600 subscribers, and when I say that, the quality of the subscribers, like, I thought prior to being in the social media space that you had to have the big numbers, but the actual quality and how I was able to create a community in which people were not just, you know, helping themselves, but helping each other and being support systems for each other, that was worth it. That made sense. You know, that's quality. And so we kind of live in a world now where just, you gotta put yourself out there, whether it is online or in the physical. So don't let your thoughts limit you. And also when it comes to goal setting, say you want to build something, say you want to accomplish something, say you have a goal, and of course you take a goal, you want to, you know, make it into digestible steps, and it feels really, really good in the moment. You're like, yes. And then you go to do it that first day, it works out, and then the second day it works out, and then the third day you just don't feel like doing it. Do it anyway. This is why I'm a really big person on hobbies, because I know for me, when it comes to mental training and mindset training, I'm able to work out a lot of things in those hobbies. There's no pressure. I don't have to be really good at whatever it is, but then also I can be getting better. And my recent hobby is pole. I do a lot of pole. So when I go to classes, there are some days where I'm just like, I don't want to go. And usually for me, it's like I'm working on like a move, and I'm not getting the move. And so then I'm frustrated. I'm like, I don't care about none of this. I don't want to go to the class no more. And forcing myself to go, because there's really no reason why I shouldn't be going, forcing myself to go and being able to just work on it myself there. Afterwards, it feels so good. So go to the edge of discomfort and do that. And understand that depending on what your goal is, it's a little bit of time or it's a lot of bit of time, okay? But that's okay. Your thoughts do not have to rule you and run you. Your thoughts are important. They keep things spicy in our lives, you know. But they do not have to run you. You have so much, you know, ability to decide what you want from this life, and you have the power to have the life that you want. So breathe through it, inhale and exhale, flow through this, okay? And yes, I don't know, I've just always been a person with a lot of hobbies. I've been, like, when I was younger, I did all things like music and madrigals and it's maybe getting to that next weight or getting to that next rep, there's a lot of mental stuff that's going on. And when you kind of learn how to overcome that, you can then take that and put it in, or you should anyway, I'm not saying everybody does, you can take that and apply that into other places in your life. I remember when I used to run a yoga class, I always wondered, like, why did people like my class so much? And I started to realize that they're not there because they feel like I am just the best. By those who want to see you blossom and or bloom. I am Jessica. Sup, I also go by Jet, a Reiki master, teacher, and intuitive. In sweetness, welcome to your nightly self-care routine, a place where you can take care of yourself and do whatever you need to do during this time. So if you're new, welcome, 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 babies. And if you are returning, welcome, welcome, welcome back, sweetness. Mama loves you. Today we have a very special healing session. We are going to be removing past pain. So get very comfortable. Exhale and let go. And we're going to release what no longer serves. So, as we go into our practice, we start off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer. It is just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and a collective. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, babies. May I touch you? Okay. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest intentions and validate information from our highest self only. Please release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. So let's just begin to smooth away any physical pain. If there's anything that you've been dealing with physically, let's go in and shift the energy past, leaving it where it is, and letting go of it. It was lovely once, and then it was not. And that is the time that lets you know the lesson was over. And that the pain is a reminder to let go. The longer you hold on to it, the longer it lingers. Just let it go. There's no incentive anymore. Release that. Let them go. Let that memory go. Let that experience go. Let those set of circumstances go. Let it go. It cannot come with you where you are going. And where you're going is always better than where you have been. But do not bring that energetic baggage with you. Don't let that rotten piece of energy spoil the beautiful energy you have coming into your life. Let it go. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, and release. Release, 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 release. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good, 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 good. Good job. Good, 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 good. Good job. yourself. You have your self-care practice, and you show up each and every day with the compassion for yourself. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye. Or Bloom. I am Jessica. Sup? I also go by Jet, and I am a Reiki master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session, and this healing session is restoring your energy. So if you're new to the community, welcome, 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 babies. This is your nightly self-care routine, or daily, whenever you get what you get when you get in it, okay? So what do you do here? Well, when you come here, you do whatever you want, sweetness. So you can enjoy the healing, participate, you can fall asleep, you can just have this on in the background as something to play as you are carving out that time for your self-care. The most important thing is the self-care aspect of it, so you get to choose what you do, and we do this Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, that's when you go and you have fun. So welcome, welcome, welcome to all my new babies, and welcome, welcome back to all my returning babies. Mama loves you. Okay. So as we work on restoring your energy, it's going to be pulling away excess energy, negative energy, any kind of feelings that are anxious or anything like that, maybe even overthinking, cooling and calming down the aura. But before we get started, we say a prayer. It is not a religious prayer. It is a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and to bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay. May I touch you? Okay. You ready? Take a deep breath. Exhale. 2 more, sweetness. Final breath. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and our highest intention only. Please validate information from our highest self only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe. 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 Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed the prayer. And I hope you like how it's changed over time. It's going to continue to change. I always encourage everyone to change, keep changing, and keep growing. So now we're going to get into the restoration part. So just relax your energy down. Take your time. Take your time. And let's just work on overthinking first, okay? Because sometimes we can be really tired, but the mind is just like, so let's go for the thoughts first. Each little thought, just take it. Take And just remember to continue your breathing here. It's really important. It doesn't have to be too deep, but it shouldn't be too shallow. Just be mindful, be regular with it, because a lot of times in everyday life we actually don't breathe deep enough. And so just think about all of the oxygen we are cutting off from our brain. And a lot of times, a lot of just mindful breaths can really help alleviate some of the just everyday symptoms we have of just not having that oxygen to our brain and to our body. But sometimes when we breathe so deeply, we get lightheaded, which can be a good thing if you are like anxious and you just feel like all over the place. Sometimes those deep breaths kind of just calm you down. Another thing for anxiety is like if you could physically go into action and burn off the excess energy. I actually got that from Netflix. Has this series. It's called Explained. That's what it's called. They talk about a lot of stuff, but they were talking about the mind. They have this kind of like, it's like a limited series about the mind. So good. And then they went over anxiety. Oh, that was really good. And they were talking about how like your body gets in a state of fight or flight when you're anxious. And they were talking about, well, how do you relieve that and what systems shut down when you're anxious? But one way to burn off that excess energy is, as they were saying, like exercise or something that really takes movement. And I'm like, wow, that's free. That's free. Just run around a little bit. But it's just very interesting and very fascinating, you know. And I think what really like got me was the evolutionary perspective of us as a species, you know, like where our species is about 200,000 years old. You know, hominids date back probably over 6 million years, but our specific species, Homo sapiens, it started around 200,000 years ago. And so for us to have these instincts that make sense because of how we developed in that moment, but how we continue to carry these instincts now today when we have different situations, when things are much different, it's just so amazing. So it explains why someone can be very fearful or anxious of something that really can't physically hurt them, because the wiring, our wiring as a species and our adaptability to a new environment has now made us believe that this thing can hurt us. And you know, I talk about psychosomatic conditions where we have emotional trauma or emotional hurting or things that are happening on the inside, and as it manifests out in the physical side, and that within itself is basically saying like this instinct that we have, these things that our, you know, species as a whole has, in order to kind of make it through life, has now adapted to our modern day environment. So when someone is having a deep anxiety, a panic attack or something like that, it feels like, you know, true danger is happening. And so the reason why I wanted to explain it is that life isn't just happening to you. You have more power than you know, but I think power comes from understanding what's happening first. And when you understand what's happening first, you then empower yourself to be able to make changes or to be in control of how you want to move or what works best for you. I say it all the time, you know, it is important to know what's going on in your body. It's important to understand your lineage and your legacy, because baby, let me tell you something. If you go through life and you have a string of unfortunate events, if you do not know your lineage or your legacy or your ancestors, you might just think other people have it easy. You might just think it's happening to you. But when you have these stories of resilience and you have these stories of people that you come from that have made it through, you know, similar situations or worse, you start to realize, oh, I'm built for this, you know. But if you don't, if you're disconnected and you're just, you know, kind of like a island, then you don't get the benefits of knowing that for generations, people of this species have been able to get to the other side. Because for us, we think the beginning of time is whenever we were born, you know. just started to farm agriculture 20,000 years ago. Before that, we were all, nomadic. And then as we started to farm agriculture, we made the first civilizations. It was no longer like, small groups just going about. We now had infrastructure. And then, we started to develop technology. We started to harness things and be able to amplify it. And it's like, if you look at our progressive nature of the inventions we've made as a species, it's like this. And then where we are now is like so I say all of that to say, I know it seems a little bit all over the place, but I say all that to say we're working on you getting out of your own way, because you are contributing to this big picture. That's why I'm always explaining these long stories, because you have to understand that you are contributing to this big picture. So you may feel like in the moment that you are not motivated, or you're anxious, or sometimes you just be like, should I really continue to do X, Y, and Z? But just know that you are contributing to the big picture, and it's okay to handle what you may feel moment to moment when times are maybe not going your way, or you have to adjust to a lot of change and things like that. But know that what you do matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. And you should put yourself out there. You should put your energy out there for us to be able to enjoy and to share, because that is what is moving us as a species. It's amazing, Let's just move this through a little bit more. I love reading stories of especially autobiographies of people who, they never, they go on to accomplish great things in some field, but they talk about in the beginning where they didn't necessarily feel like they could do it in the beginning. Not that they didn't have the ability to do it, but for some reason, some type of insecurity that came up, and that insecurity probably shows as anxiety, or if you have a lot of tough things that happen at once, then it might go into a bit of a depression and just all of these other things that may come up as well. And it's just so fascinating that them deciding, okay, well, fuck it, I'm gonna figure it out and just keep going, then they were able to tap into their ability, which they were able to do it, and things just become less anxious because they faced it. And so I say that to say that it is completely normal, however you're feeling at all times. There's no such thing as the normal life. You ever heard people I just want to be normal? Baby, there's no such thing. The way you're experiencing life is really how people experience life. It'd be over here, over here, up here, down there, all kinds of places. That's normal. That is the norm. That's the norm. So let's normalize the real norm. So sweetness, I hope this brought smiles to your face as we're going through this healing, because sometimes you just gotta laugh, I think about it often. I'm always thinking about the big picture, and I know that, me experience these emotions. Let me not react, but let me harness whatever I need to harness from it and be purposeful in it. You know, you then start to always make movements, even if things appear not to be. You know, setbacks are just like, you know, opportunities in your next story. That in the other story, it looked like, you know, the end of a chapter or the end of something. So that's how it works. And sometimes you can't be like happy-go-lucky all the time. Sometimes you do need to be a little bit reserved. Sometimes you do need to be excited. Sometimes you do need to be chilling your energy. Sometimes you need to be like, you know, motivated. All of these things and these feelings that you experience are normal. That's all. So I'm going to continue to take out any doubt you may have. Anything taking up too much space. And moving the energy through. Relaxing the energy. Balancing the energy. Moving the energy. Finding peace in this energy. Finding abundance in this energy. Finding all that is. All that is, all that has ever been within you. You got it. 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 Beautiful. Well, family, you did a fantabulous job. Good job. Yay, you, sweetness. Just continue to feel good, you know. I think that it is important that you give yourself permission to walk into life however you need to walk into life, however it may change or it may shift, and that's completely okay, you know. You're not doing it the wrong way. There's not some right way. Every experience is pretty much negotiable. It really is, you know. So now that you have that insight, you can wield that responsibly. So you can be sweet to yourself when times are tough. You can give yourself peace when you need to be reclusive. You can be motivated and put yourself out there when you are trying to expand. Work with the energy